Alright, this video is so good, and it's from, what is this? After school, but it's not that, it's something else. I wanted to show you this, showing, they demonstrate how a society, an entire population, becomes mentally ill in mass. And it's called mass psychosis. What is it? After School, SKOOL, but it's made by academic something or other. Let me just see if I can show you.
This presentation was written and narrated by Academy of Ideas.
Academy of
Check out
Ideas.
their YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, the Academy of Ideas. Anyway, at the end of this, it kind of shows why I do what I do with social media, with vlogging, with blogging, whatever. And it talks about this, and it relates to me because I do SEO, I do search engine optimization, and so I know what building keywords and keyword searches does for the algorithms of the search engine. There's ways to, manipulate the search engines, and you do that through backlinks and keywords and guest posts and things like that. But you want to put, your information out there into the ether so that your search terms are more frequently used. So it's more of reverse engineering is how I look at it. And I do that with political or, theological, whatever kind of ideas I've got, philosophical idea of any sort. I will do a podcast, or I will do a talk show with somebody, or I will do some kind of animation or video, and I'll put my ideas out there. And I've always done that. I think I must have around 3,000 videos since I started in, way before YouTube even. I was on MySpace sharing my thoughts as well. And then I have my own websites like where'sthemap.info, behindzioncurtain.com, creativegrace.org. where'sthemap.info, and then so I had about slu2.com. Anyway, I was always sharing my ideas, and always will. And this is kind of why. Let me see if I can play this for you. I screwed up the timeline.
And so perhaps the most important question facing the world is how can totalitarianism be prevented? And if a society has been induced into the early stages of this mass psychosis, can the effects be reversed? While one can never be sure of the prognosis of a collective madness, there are steps that can be taken to help effectuate a cure. This task, however, necessitates many different approaches from many different people. For just as the mental attack is multi-pronged, so too must be the counterattack. According to Carl Jung, for those of us who wish to help return insanity to an insane world, the first step is to bring order to our own minds and to live in a way that provides inspiration for others to follow. It is not for nothing that our age cries out for a redeemer personality, for the one who can emancipate from the grip of the collective psychosis, and to save at least his own soul, who lights a beacon of hope for others, proclaiming that here is at least one man who has succeeded in extricating himself from the fatal identity of the group psyche. But assuming one is living in a manner free of the grip of the psychosis, there are further steps that can be taken. Information that counters the propaganda should be spread as far and as wide as possible. For the truth is more powerful than the fiction and falsities peddled by the would-be totalitarian rulers. And so their success is in part contingent on their ability to censor the free flow of information. Another tactic is to use humor and ridicule to delegitimize the ruling elite, or as Muriel explains, we must learn to treat the demagogue and aspirant dictators in our midst with the weapon of ridicule. The demagogue himself is almost incapable of humor of any sort, and if we treat him with humor, he will begin to collapse. A tactic recommended by Václav Havel, a political dissident under Soviet communist rule, who later became president of Czechoslovakia, is the construction of what are called parallel structures. A parallel structure is any form of organization, business, institution, technology, or creative pursuit that exists physically within a totalitarian society, yet morally outside of it. In communist Czechoslovakia, Havel noted that these parallel structures were more effective at combating totalitarianism than political action. Furthermore, when enough parallel structures are created, a second culture or parallel society spontaneously forms and functions as an enclave of freedom and sanity within a totalitarian world. Whereas Havel explains in this book the power of the powerless. What else are parallel structures than an area where a different life can be lived? A life that is in harmony with its own aims, and which in turn structures itself in harmony with those aims. What else are those?
See, and that's kind of how I've approached this woke mind virus, and it is definitely programmed. It's definitely society trying to delegitimize the patriarchy, just like they said in that NOW meeting, the National Organization of Women, in 1969 with Kate Millett and her sister Mallory, where they were like, we've got to delegitimize the patriarchy, we've got to destroy society and rebuild it, and all this. Like, that's what they're doing, right? So to step outside of that, I don't really turn on any TV and watch it. Sometimes I'll watch movies, but rarely do I watch TV, maybe never. And then I never listen to the radio, like the programmed local radio. I don't care how cool it is. 90% of the time, they've got some agenda that I'm not interested in. And I've seen these rituals, these Hollywood rituals. You just look it up. Look up Hollywood secret rituals or, Hollywood parties, secret rituals, something like that in Google. And I know they're pushing agendas, so I just step outside of it. And that's why I've created my own radio stations in multiple areas of the world. I've created my own music, 39 tracks so far this summer. And I don't have to pay royalties for those. Plus, it's got the vibe that I like, the beat that I like, the melody that I like, and the lyrics that I like, because I designed it all. And it's good. I stepped outside of the society that I feel like is sick with the woke mind virus. And this video on mass psychosis talks about how people start leaning into totalitarianism and how, all this, perceived or invented trauma can program somebody's mind. And it's sick the way that governments and humans use these tactics, but it's interesting. Good to be aware of.
Firstly, there is the phase of panic. When the patient starts to perceive things in a different way, is frightened on account of it, appears confused, and does not know how to explain the strange things that are happening. The next step is what Ariadne calls a phase of psychotic insight, whereby an individual succeeds in putting things together by devising a pathological way of seeing reality, which allows him to explain his abnormal experiences. The phenomenon is called insight because the patient finally sees meaning and relation to his experiences. But the insight is psychotic because it is based on delusions, not on adaptive and life-promoting ways of relating to whatever threats precipitated panic.
See, and I think this has a lot to do with, not only the woke mind virus, but like people thinking they can change their gender. It just can't happen. Either you're XX or you're XY, or you're one of these chromosomal anomalies, these retardations that they have DSD, and then it's ambiguous, but nonetheless, you've got no third gender. You've got XX and you've got XY, and just like Down syndrome, you've got a couple variations. That's about it. Nobody considers Down syndrome like a different species or a different, it's just a chromosomal defect that caused retardation. That's the only way I can explain it. But for the most part, no. I mean, if you were born XX, you're going to stay XX. If you were born XY, you're going to stay XY. This whole you're going to change your gender thing, not only does no other species play that game, but we have no need to. It doesn't make any sense. Sure, there's feminine, whatever type of men, and there's masculine type of women. All right. So there is, and that's cool. But no, you can't change your gender. I don't believe it. I think that's part of this psychosis, this mass psychosis, and I believe that totalitarianism literally came from a source in the 20s, the Communist Manifesto in the United States. The American communists wrote a manifesto, and part of it was turning the society against itself. I think that's exactly what's happened with a lot of this gender issue. I really do. I think that it's make-believe, a lot of it. You can't change your gender, but they're using that as a pivot to be like, yes, you can, and you got to fight anybody who says you can't. You know, that kind of thing. It's a bizarre situation.
The delusions, in other words, allow the panic-stricken individual to escape the flood of negative emotions. But at the cost of losing touch with reality. For this reason, Arietti says that a psychotic break viewed as an abnormal way of dealing with an extreme state of anxiety. If a panic-triggering flood of negative emotions in a weak and vulnerable individual can trigger a psychotic break, then a mass psychosis can result when a population of weak and vulnerable individuals is driven into a state of panic by threats real, imagined, or fabricated.
Fabricated. Let's put it like that. All right. Anyway, I wanted you all to see that, and I'm going to make a video on the whole thing there.